I'm sort of like a Falun Gong prisoner in the sense that here in California, there's a lot of human trafficking regarding women who get pregnant just for welfare checks, and it pertains to things like Chinese organ harvesting. Specifically, it's really funny because in the United States, people talk about Chinese organ harvesting and say that it's in China, but China is actually the country that purchases the organs from the United States. So what the United States does is it kills people in jail and prison with psychiatry, and then it harvests their body parts and starts making food and stuff like that. And it's kind of like a vampire encampment. Vampire meaning something that eats blood or sucks blood. And so regarding World War II, we live in an economy based on traffic, or mainly dependent on traffic instead of dependent on agriculture and agricultural landscaping and stuff. So it's all metropolitan, pertaining to World War II and the Third Reich. And so the Third Reich is pretty much the most stealth widespread destruction in the United States up to date. So it's really funny because the United States says that China are the people where the prisoners are being harvested, but it's not just China, it's actually everywhere in California, pertaining to psychiatry, specifically pertaining to psychiatry. So anywhere that people practice psychiatry, it's really mainly based off of communism, and communism merging with Nazism regarding the Aryan invasion theory, which I learned about in high school in California. And I didn't learn about the peace treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, and I only learned about Nazism and Aryanism instead of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo in U.S. history class at Harbor High in Santa Cruz County. And so Harbor High didn't teach me about the peace treaty because I'm a Mexican American. And so it's just really interesting because I have to try to protect people who don't know about psychiatry, because there's a lot of people in poverty regarding combat from World War II. So the teacher of my U.S. history class told me that Mercedes-Benz and Jeep and Volkswagen manufactured weapons of massive destruction and murdered millions of children and millions of adults during World War II. And it's just that Mercedes-Benz, Jeep, and Volkswagen are all still here selling vehicles in the United States. So I have no choice but to conclude that we are still in World War II, just because that's the only evidence that's presented, even if courts and the highest offices say it's not true. I can't believe it because of what general education said in general. So in general, I'm making this YouTube just to help people to understand that we might actually still live in World War II. And so World War II harvests our organs. So what happened to me on February 10th of the year 2015 is that there was a bench warrant for my arrest, which was a false bench warrant. It was California Penal Code 783 or something like that. It was for failure to appear on battery charge, and it was actually California Penal Code 853.7 regarding California Penal Code 242. So the FBI actually put a fake bench warrant in the NCIC, and I was falsely imprisoned, and then I had to pretend that I was taking psychiatric medicine, but the psychiatric medicine was caving in my skull. And when I went to Harbor High School, I was actually in combat versus the United States Confederacy. The United States Confederacy pertained to Los Angeles County exclusively, or actually specifically. The United States Confederacy comes from Los Angeles County and Texas and stuff like that. And so the United States Confederacy created a militia called the Mexican Mafia, and the United States Confederacy actually operates really efficiently as the Mexican Mafia. So the Mexican Mafia is the United States Confederacy. And so those people come and actually try to abridge all of my peaceable assemblies. I'm always getting abridged of parenting, abridged of my personal liberties pertaining to psychiatry, and specifically psychiatry being connected to the United States Confederacy, and specifically Nazism and even the KGB, Russian National Security, all being connected to the United States Confederacy regarding the Ku Klux Klan, because the United States Confederacy was also the Ku Klux Klan. So I'm not a gang member, and I just wish that I could be a parent, but I've earned millions of dollars, and I've done millions of dollars in labor. And we live in the United States Confederacy, which is also World War II, and which is also the United States government. So I don't get paid for any of my money. The government says that I committed crime without them torturing me, and I haven't really committed any sort of crime, or I haven't really sinned without being tortured. So I can't really accredit myself as a bad person. But in general, I think that people should know my life story, because I have a son named Jacob who might grow up to be like an evil spirit, to be some sort of character that doesn't love his kids, because I don't know why he doesn't love me. And I think it just has to do with Las Vegas FBI. The Las Vegas FBI is just the Church of Satan. So my son doesn't love me because he's a part of the Church of Satan just for money. So I just want to apologize about my son Jacob Barker if he ever attacks anybody, or if he's attacking anybody right now. I apologize if my son Jacob Barker is skin tagging anybody, or if my son Jacob Barker is hurting anybody. He just pertains to, I guess, the Al-Qaeda, and the Al-Qaeda was Italian people, and Italian people didn't stop attacking me and haven't stopped attacking me regarding alleged morality. So Italian people are just only attacking regarding morality, and they're just using psychiatry, which is really the Al-Qaeda, regarding Arabian man camp, pertaining to that book actually being translated into Arabian. So we live Arabian man camp, and we live in man camp's doctrine the whole time. So I'm just always in combat versus Italian people, and I'm sorry, you guys, if my son's an evil spirit. If he grows up to be an evil spirit, I'm really sorry about that. I've done the best I can to tell him to be generous and kind, and I've done the best I can to tell him to love his children, so I can accredit myself for trying to raise him to love his children and to be kind and generous, and I can accredit myself for that. But maybe he's being held hostage, so if anybody knows about my son being held hostage, he might actually be being held hostage by the Al-Qaeda and the California State Bar. So just in case the California State Bar is the Al-Qaeda holding my son hostage, or raising him to be the Al-Qaeda with the Las Vegas FBI, I'm just letting you guys know that I'm not the Al-Qaeda, and that if the Las Vegas FBI is the Al-Qaeda regarding using heroin, I just want you guys to know about the Las Vegas FBI being the Al-Qaeda regarding using heroin, and a percentage or a majority of the Federal Bureau of Investigation actually using heroin, which is the actual felony narcotics. So that's why, another reason probably why I can't have my son. He might actually even be or have been a heroin user, just in case he's dead, because I don't know if my son is dead or not. He's never called me in his life, and I've never sexually abused or physically abused him. I've never spit on him or anything, so I don't know what the problem is other than human trafficking. So I'm trying to defend myself just in case I get murdered, regarding how aggressive the California State Bar, or the California State Bar Association, is pertaining to the Al-Qaeda and psychiatry specifically. So just in case the California State Bar is the Al-Qaeda regarding psychiatry, I'm sorry, you guys, and I'm doing my best, but the government's just the Al-Qaeda the whole time regarding psychiatry. So I'm just a panhandler, and that's not my fault.